Hey guys, I really hope you enjoyed my cover of Dying to Heal by Architects. This is my favorite song off of Holy Hell for sure. I think what captures me the most about this song is the way it starts off. The melody that they're singing along with the lyrics is so cool. I don't know. It just like, if you watch my reaction video to Holy Hell, you heard me then say how much I loved it. And like, yeah, I don't know. I chose to do this cover because of that. It was so sick. This too means that I think I've done 6, maybe 7, maybe 5. I could be screwing this up. I think this song is like one song over halfway for covering the entire record. So we're almost there. After this cover, however, I'll be taking a little bit of a break off Architects. I want to do a couple other different bands, and then we'll come back to Holy Hell and finish off this record. All right, sweet. So let's get into the lesson video. Time, sig, and tempo are 190 BPM and 4/4 through the entire track. First, I'm going to perform for you the first half of the intro. This section is super sweet. It doesn't repeat itself. This is the only part in the song where we're going to see this sort of tom groove where you're moving back and forth between the toms and your kick. The toughest part about this section that I found was the China choke. There's only one cymbal choke, and it's on my China through this section, so you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about when you come to it. Pay close attention to the sticking that I use after the choke, because I needed to give myself time to grab the cymbal and then get back down to the floor tom, so I use my left hand to do that. Okay, cool. Here's the first half of the intro, performed for you now. Awesome. So coming out of that intro, we are going to go into the second half of the intro 1.2. This section is also going to be repeated as the post-chorus when we come to that after the first chorus. This section is super straightforward. There's not a whole lot to say about it. My favorite part about the section would probably be the outro fill that takes you out of the section. It's super cool, and we only see that fill once. For that group of 16ths, the 4 group of 16ths on my kick drum, at the beginning of that fill, I am using a heel-toe technique, so I'm going heel, heel, toe, toe. I recommend you use that for that part of the fill. It is a little bit of a faster kick. All that being said, here is the second half of the intro performed for you now. Coming out of the second half of the intro, coming off of that fill that I love, we're going to go into the first verse. There's only 2 verses in this song. They're both essentially the same thing, except the second verse is going to be a more complicated version of it. There's a lot of transitioning going over top of bar lines through this section. Pretty cool. I like the fills that take place during the section. Outside of that, yeah, here it is. Verse 1, performed for you now. After verse 1, we're going to go into the first pre-chorus. The pre-chorus is super simple. You're just going to be maintaining a pulse on your kick drum while playing your crash cymbals. At the end of the post-chorus, transitioning into the first chorus, there's a little bit of a cool fill. That's the only really tough part about this section. You should really have no trouble breezing on through this guy and getting to the chorus. Here's pre-chorus 1, performed for you now. After pre-chorus, of course, we go into the chorus. The choruses in this song essentially do have a very defined center line that the entire groove of the song and the feel of the song sort of changes once you get past that center line. Specifically because we're going to go from an almost sort of double time feel into more of a halftime feel. So yeah, here is chorus 1 performed for you now. After the chorus, we're going to go into the first half of the post-chorus. The first half of the post-chorus is the second half of the intro. The only thing that changed in this section is the fill taking you out of it, and I added some ghost notes in the second half of this section. Cool, so here is the first half of post-chorus 1 performed for you now. So coming up next is post-chorus 1.2, the second half of the first post-chorus. This is a breakdown that's going to transition us back into the verse sections. This breakdown doesn't really repeat itself at all. The patterning is kind of strange and definitely will take a bit of memorization to get this down. Because of how unique this section is, this will probably be one of the more difficult parts of the song. It was for me at least. Here is the second half of the post-chorus performed for you now. All right, awesome. So up next, we're going to go right into verse 2. Verse 2 is almost the same as verse 1. It's just a build on verse 1. So we are going to add some accents in different places. The fills get a little bit more complex. It's just sort of a upgraded version of the first verse. Here's verse 2 performed for you now. Okay, awesome. So in performing verse 2 for you just now, I specifically left out the last 2 bars of this section. The reason why I left them out and I'm going to perform them separate is simply because it's kind of a little bit more challenging and I wanted to give you some room to breathe between learning these 2 guys. These last 2 bars are all fill and they happen right at the end of verse 2 to transition us into what would be the bridge. So the first half of this guy is going to have some ghost notes and accents moving around, and then after that we're going to go into a series of fraction fills through the snare and toms. Here's the transition fill at the end of verse 2 now. So after that fill, we have a dropout before the next pre-chorus. I'm going to perform the pre-chorus next for you. It's the same as the first one, except a little bit more simple, because now we're just keeping that pulse on the kick drum, and then at the end of it, it's just a snare roll instead of a fill. Here's pre-chorus 2, performed for you now. After pre-chorus 2, we're going to go into the second chorus in this song. The second chorus is pretty much identical to the first chorus. The only thing that we're changing up is the fill that takes us out of this section. It's a triplet fill through the snare and toms, and it's honestly a little bit easier than the fill coming out of the first one, so this should be quick and easy to breeze on through. Here is chorus 2, performed for you now. Cool, so the next part we're going to come to that has some drumming in it is this tom buildup before the breakdown. This part is super simple and I will not be slowing it down. I'm just going to be playing at the 190 tempo. Here's the tom buildup now. Okay, cool. So now we're into, I don't even know, I'm kind of lost in the labels at this point. This song definitely doesn't follow a pop structure, so it's a little bit of a challenge me labeling it. I guess we can call this the bridge or the first half of the outro, but it's a very, very long, drawn-out outro because it's just 2 big breakdowns put right beside each other. So yeah, I'm going to perform the first half of this really long breakdown outro thing for you guys now. Coming out of that, we're going to go into basically the same thing that we just did, just a little bit of a variation on it. It shouldn't be too tough to learn. The challenging part in this next section is the section we just played. We're going to keep that groove the same, but we're going to add some kicks and we're going to reduce the amount of chinas for the first half of this last section. That's going to make it feel super slow, super halftime. And then the second half of this outro section will double the china hits back up to more of a full-time feel. Here's the last section of the song, the outro breakdown, performed for you now. Okay, amazing. You made it. Congratulations on learning Dying to Heal by Architects. I really hope you guys enjoyed my cover on Dying to Heal, and I really hope you enjoyed this lesson video. If you are not already at this point, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and if you want updates on when new videos are coming out and what those videos are going to be about, you can connect with me further on any of my social media pages. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. The links to those guys are on the screen for you right now, as well as in the description below. Thanks again, and I will see you guys very soon with something new.